What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of 101 Sports and Cards. As always, I'm Nathan Holloway, with me, Drew Trish.
What's going on?
We're going to start in the NFL just to let you guys know there's going to be a very NBA-heavy segment because, well, you know, the trade deadline is Thursday, and there's been a ton of moves already made. So if you don't like the NBA, don't even worry about listening to this episode because that's basically all it's going to be. We're going to start in the NFL, where the Rams are trying to trade Cooper Kupp. He did not request a trade. The Rams are looking to move him just because of salary reasons, the fact that he's, been hurt a lot, and they have Puka.
Yeah.
So who would you like to see Cooper Kupp get traded to that can actually afford? Right now, the Broncos are the favorites to get him.
Yeah, it'd be a good fit. Bo Nix. Give Bo Nix a true number one.
I'd love to see him go to a different.
I like to see him go to the Browns. Not the Browns. Bengals.
Yeah, they can't afford. They can't afford T. Higgins.
Yeah.
I'd like to a different rookie quarterback, not Bo Nix. He would be a good fit with Denver, but well, that is one. The Patriots would be a good fit. Are they smart enough to make the move? No. The Commanders.
Yeah.
Him on one side and Terry McLaurin on the other. That's dangerous. We've already seen what Jaden Daniels can do. Myles Garrett requested a trade from the Browns.
Not shocking.
Yeah, it's about time. The Browns are. The Browns might not even be a football team anymore. Like they're trash. I'm not even gonna ask you who you want to see him go to because he would help literally any team.
Vikings.
You're not smart enough to do that. Also, the Browns are going to want too much for him, and they're also said they're not looking to trade him, which usually doesn't end well when somebody requests a trade. You just learned that from Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Super Bowl is this weekend. There's been literally the NBA has covered all the national headlines this week. You have heard rare amount about the Super Bowl unless you watch some of the crappier midday ESPN shows like I did today. And turned it off because I was more interested in NBA news. Chiefs-Eagles. Chiefs are looking for their third consecutive Super Bowl. The Eagles are looking for their first Super Bowl since they upset the Patriots with Nick Foles as their QB. So who wins?
I want to see Eagles, but I don't think it's going to happen.
I also want to see the Eagles, and it is going to happen. Saquon Barkley's going to have a great game on his birthday.
Comes down to the refs.
Yeah, it does. Saquon's going to have a great game on his birthday.
Jalen Hurts is going to come out and perform.
Jalen Hurts has not thrown an interception this playoff run. If he can continue that against a great Chiefs defense, I believe the Eagles' defense is going to give the Chiefs a lot of trouble.
Especially backfield.
Because the Chiefs' offensive line is not that good. They have basically no running game. I mean, Pacheco was hurt. He had a broken leg or fractured leg, whatever it was. Kareem Hunt's old, still good, but and guess what? All you got to do, double team Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Who else he throwing it to? Now, will that likely happen? No, and the refs will rig this game like they always do. And we'll be talking about next week that we're going to be seeing everywhere next week that Mahomes is the GOAT, which he's not.
Not even close.
You're not the GOAT until you get 7 rings.
He's not even top 3. He's barely top 5.
The only thing I'm looking forward to in this is Kendrick Lamar's halftime show. Along with SZA. SZA will also be performing. But, yeah. Sunday night, I'll watch it. I said I won't. I'll watch it because what else do I have to do? If it's a blowout, I'll turn it off after halftime. Yeah. Moving on to the association. If you're looking for more of a Super Bowl preview, I'm sorry. But clearly neither of us are intrigued by the matchup. There's basically nobody in the world is intrigued by the matchup unless, you're a host of, a sports show.
Yeah.
And, your bosses are making you talk about it. Or you're a Chiefs or Eagles fan.
Yeah.
Because other than that, nobody really cares.
Philly fans
I've never seen this amount of people just like on social media saying they don't even want to watch, the biggest sporting event
in the world.
Yeah.
Well, besides the World Cup, but U.S. sports, yes. World Cup is the biggest sport.
Thanks.
Probably Olympics. And then Euro World Cup.
You also got to think them don't happen every year.
No. But still.
Moving on to the association. The trade that sent shockwaves through the NBA and is the most, I'm going to go ahead and say, is the most shocking trade in NBA history and one of the most surprising trades in sports history. The Mavericks sent Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie in a 2029 first-round pick. So like I will do with all of these, I am going to ask you, who won this deal and why?
Lakers won. They get a generational talent in Luka Doncic. They get rid of a injury-prone Anthony Davis, who doesn't have too much longer. And LeBron's going to...
He's hurt right now, just to let you know that. So is Luka, but Luka's supposed to come back on Sunday, which I'll talk about here in a second.
LeBron's going to teach Luka how to be a leader and basically the ropes to be a good captain. I mean, I don't know what the Mavericks were doing. I think this is the Mavericks' dumbest move in their history. And I don't blame the fan base basically saying, we're done with you guys. Because you just basically traded away your best player, arguably your best player in your franchise's history behind Dirk. And I would say he was well on his way to pass Dirk, in my opinion. I get sure, the weight thing scares you.
They did it because this is what their GM, Nico Harris, said.
Did not like it either.
Nico Harris, their GM, I believe that's his name. If I'm wrong, nobody will correct me because Mavericks fans want him dead right now. And if you've seen social media, you know what I'm talking about. Nico Harris said that he said after the trade, defense wins championships. Of course, Luka's not he plays no defense because he's too busy, arguing with the refs. And also
and scoring 50 points a game.
Yeah, and also the fact that he is overweight. He doesn't really care too much about his body. But, which, you can compare that with Zion, but Luka has not been as hurt as Zion, and Luka's also,
generational.
He led you guys to a championship last year, or led you guys to a Western Conference championship, and 2 games away from a NBA title against, the absolutely stacked Boston Celtics team. I think he dropped 70 points last year.
Yeah. He's a 5-time All-NBA first team. So every time he's been an All-Star, he's been first team All-Star.
He will be 26 years old at the end of February. His birthday is February 28th. It's 27th or 28th, something like that. Anthony Davis is 31. I also agree that the Lakers won this move. To get Luka, you have the literal passing of the torch now with LeBron to Luka. Also, this is a perfect, like Kendrick Perkins said on SportsCenter after the deal, if you're worried about the weight problems, the eating problems, body-wise, the perfect person to mentor him is LeBron. LeBron James is probably has taken the most care of his body of any athlete ever.
Yeah.
Which is why he's still playing.
At 42? Or was he 40?
He's 40.
But still, he's playing elite level.
I also I'm not going to say I get the Maverick side of it, because I don't get the Maverick side of it. But I somewhat get the Maverick side that you want defense. You're going to be able to play Anthony Davis at power forward since you have Daniel Gafford at center. Of course, you also have Derek Lively, but he's hurt, and it's going to be out a while. But other than that, Max Christie played very well in their first game. Anthony Davis still sitting on the sidelines. Street clothes Davis strikes again. He should be back sometime. They're hoping before the All-Star break, which is next week. Other than that, the only way the Mavericks win this trade, they have to win a championship in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
Because Anthony Davis is 31, Kyrie's 31. They don't have much time left. Kyrie was not thrilled about this trade at all.
With his
Of course,
history.
Kyrie, he wanted to play with Anthony Davis whenever he actually recruited Anthony Davis to the Celtics when he was with the Celtics during his time there. He also recruited him to the Nets. Whenever, him, KD, and Harden had whatever the hell they decided to do there. But to trade away Luka is
criminal.
Especially in what only one first round pick is not enough.
This should have been like every first round pick for 6 years.
Well, the Lakers only had 2 first round picks they could trade.
Yeah.
And they didn't even have to give up both.
And that wasn't even that much for Luka.
This also was the fact that Jason Kidd did not know, which is amazing, that you don't tell your head coach.
That he's going to lose his best player.
Nobody at LeBron did not know they were trading, or J.J. Redick did not know they were trading Anthony Davis. Nobody knew besides Rob Pelinka, the owner, who was the GM of the Lakers, the owner of the Lakers, of course knew, the owner of the Mavericks knew, and then Nico Harris. Even the Jazz, who was the third team in this deal, they got Jalen Hood-Schifino and 2 second-round picks in the trade. Danny Ainge, their GM, did not even know. He knew that he was going to be a part of the trade. He did not know what the trade was going to be, and he said that he was absolutely shocked when he learned that it was, Luka for Anthony Davis. Also, the fact that the Mavericks they contacted the Lakers about this weeks ago. Yeah. And it was just between the two teams. They did not, go out, be like, hey, Shams, we're interested in trading Luka. Get that out, so then there's just an all-out bidding war, because there are 29 teams in the NBA who would love to have Luka Doncic. And there are 29 teams in the NBA who would have paid up.
Yeah.
Especially, a few of them, and the Spurs. The Spurs were very interested in Luka. They've been interested in Luka. They have second most first-round picks. Second most picks of any team. I'm sure the Thunder would have been interested, because Sam Presti would love to have a backcourt of Luka and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And they have enough first-round picks that, they could send 20 first-round picks, and they still have 50 of them left.
Celtics could have got something done.
Any team could. Besides, I say any team. Some teams can't, because you just don't have enough talent.
I mean, hell, the Rockets could have. Yeah. The Pistons could have.
But the fact that it was just between these two teams, there's a lot of people that wanted Adam Silver to veto this trade. That was never going to happen.
Can you veto a trade?
Chris Paul got vetoed whenever he was traded to the Lakers by David Stern. It's mainly the only time it's ever happened. But yeah. Of course, that was the biggest move. Any other trade that happens will not top that, unless we see
Steph and LeBron.
Yeah. Which is not going to happen, because LeBron said he wants to stay with the Lakers. The next trade that happened on Sunday, the Kings traded De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs. This is a 3-team trade that included the Bulls. The Bulls sent Zach LaVine to the Kings. The Bulls received Trey Jones, Zach Collins, and Kevin Huerter, and their own 2025 first-round pick, which was a lottery or top 10 protected pick. That was originally owned by the Spurs. They got that back. Either way, it would have been fine. They probably would have got it anyway. The Kings received 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks in the trade. The Kings also received Sidy Cissoko. We'll get into that here in a second, because he got moved today. Who won this trade?
The King. No, I'm sorry. Spurs. Spurs gave up nobody to get one of the best point guards in the game of basketball to pair with Victor Wembanyama. So, that's all there is to it.
This season, the Spurs, no, I'm not just saying that because I'm a Spurs fan. The Spurs won this trade. It's not even close. Weird nugget that just came out from Shams. The Chicago Bulls and Alonzo Ball have agreed to a 2-year, $20 million extension. Apparently, they couldn't find anybody to trade for him. The Spurs won this trade. De'Aaron Fox is great. He's making his Spurs debut right now. He has 24 points and 10 assists in the fourth quarter of the game against the Hawks. I watched the beginning of the game. It looked really good. It's weird seeing Mitch Johnson decided that he was going to start De'Aaron Fox and Chris Paul alongside each other, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
I think that'll eventually change. Stephon Castle will eventually be a starter. But the fact that the Spurs are able to pull off this move and not have to give up Keldon Johnson
Vassell, Sohan.
Devin Vassell, Jeremy Sohan, or Stephon Castle. And all they had to give up was Zach Collins. Wrong Zach. Zach Collins, who is straight garbage. No offense. Actually, I don't care. City Sissoko didn't play anyway, and Trey Jones, he was a free agent after season. The Bulls are looking to trade away everybody they got in return, and Trey Jones, Zach Collins, and Kevin Huerter. I'm going to tell you right now, the only person that any team would want from those three is Trey Jones, because Zach Collins is basically untradeable. The fact that they even took him in the trade is amazing. The Bulls lost this trade. Like, the Bulls received nothing for Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine's having a career year. Yes, he's had injury problems over the last few seasons, but he's not been injured this year. He's averaging like 25 points per game, having a great season. He now goes to the Kings, where he re-teams up with DeMar DeRozan. Of course, you still have Sabonis. The Kings, this is a solid move. It's going to be interesting to see what they use as their point guard. Right now, it's Malik Monk. Eventually, I believe it'll be Devin Carter, who's the 13th overall pick in the draft. But the big losers of this trade, like the Spurs are the huge winners. The Kings got a solid return, especially with 3 first, second-round picks. Like, that's really good. Now, also for the Spurs, they did not have to give up any 2025 first-round picks, except for the Bulls, which was lottery protected and was going to convey back to the Bulls anyway. They also gave up a lottery protected pick from the Hornets that, is clearly going to be a lottery protected because the Hornets are complete ass. And they shouldn't be. But the Bulls, I don't know what Chicago's doing, but this rebuild for Chicago is terrible. That's all I gotta say. The next trade that happened, the trade that just happened about like 10 minutes ago, the Warriors traded for Jimmy Butler. Just like everybody saw coming. Of course, the Warriors were in talks there were talks last night that the Warriors were trying to get Kevin Durant from the Suns and, reunite with him. Came out today. Apparently, AD was very close to that happening, and Durant would have went to the Suns. Durant would have went to the Warriors. Butler would have went to the Suns, and then Andrew Wiggins would have went to the Heat in a 3-team trade. That did not happen. Durant came out today, and there were reports that said he did not want to go back to Golden State. I wonder why. Draymond Green, reason he left. The first place, the reason why nobody wants to go to Golden State, because the Golden State called every single team this week and tried to land their top star. Which, there's very few teams that are going to actually trade their star player, and there's very few players that actually want to go play in the Bay Steph Curry, who wouldn't want to play alongside Steph Curry? But once you name Draymond Green, and the fact that they refused to trade him is amazing. But they did get Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler also signed a 2-year, $121 million extension that will run through 2026-27, where all them, NBA insiders that were saying, he won't sign an extension unless it's with Phoenix. Clearly.
We'll see how Jimmy and Draymond get along.
Warriors get Jimmy. This was actually a 4-team deal. The Raptors were originally a part of it. They were set to get Kyle Anderson from the Warriors. That will not be the case. The Raptors dropped out. So Kyle Anderson now goes to the Heat, along with Andrew Wiggins, a protected first-round pick. And they also get P.J. Tucker from the Jazz. The Pistons get Lindy Waters III and Josh Richardson. And then the Jazz get, why does that say Kyle Anderson? The Jazz get Dennis Schroeder. Who won this trade? You can honestly say
the Heat, because they got more people, and it's going to help the team more than Jimmy would. So
Jimmy wasn't helping the team at all.
Yeah, so I guess the Heat, because the Royals think it's not going to. Jimmy's going to not get along with Draymond, and it's going to blow up, and he's going to force his way out again. And
I agree with the Heat.
It's really not that good of a trade.
No, it's a terrible trade. But it's finally over.
Yeah.
The saga between Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat has been going on since the off-season and was just,
hard to watch.
It was annoying.
Yeah.
That every day there was something new. And for a guy who covers the NBA, every day. It was just annoying. This was also the big losers of this trade, though, is the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah.
Because they wanted Jimmy Butler terribly. They were aggressively pursuing him, and just because Bradley Beal has a no trade clause and was unwilling to waive it, the Suns are going to be stuck with their current big three. They're one game over 500, and it's not looking good in Phoenix. And the fact that they were willing to listen to offers for Kevin Durant is concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Heat won this trade. I don't see the Warriors doing much. Like Jimmy Butler, he's a solid player. He's not what he used to be.
He's more of a role player.
Yeah. Him and Draymond are not going to get along at all. I know that. And they just don't have a good team. The fact that all the Warriors had to do was move Wiggins and Kyle Anderson, though, and Wendy Waters, and Schroeder, but Schroeder had been trash since he got there. The fact that they did not have to give up any of their young players is good for them. But overall, it's not going to work. The 76ers traded Caleb Martin to the Mavericks for Quentin Grimes in a 2025 second-round pick. I'm not going to ask your thoughts on this trade because nobody gives two craps about this trade. This was a move for the 76ers to get under the second apron. That's the one of the two moves they made. They also sent Kenyon Martin Jr., or KJ Martin, apparently what he's going by now, to the Pistons. It's just to cut salary.
Yeah.
But do not be surprised if Paul George gets moved.
Yeah.
Next trade, honestly the weirdest trade that has happened thus far, besides the Luka Anthony Davis. The Bucks traded Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson was their first round pick, and a pick swap to the Wizards for Kyle Kuzma, Patrick Baldwin Jr., and a second round pick. Who won this trade?
I don't know right now. It's kind of a middle tie. Both don't blow your socks off. Mediocre player for a mediocre player. I guess Kuzma's younger. I mean, you trade your first round pick. You just wasted your first round pick.
They wasted that first round pick whenever they took AJ Johnson.
Yeah.
Who I had as a second round pick.
But, I mean, he didn't even get a chance, I don't think. So, it's kind of a dumb move on the Bucks. But Chris Middleton needs to go. He sucks now.
I do feel bad for Chris Middleton. Like, he's done a lot of stuff for Milwaukee. Helped him win a championship. He's going to have his number retired by Milwaukee once he retires.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I don't like this move for either team. The Wizards, they're wanting to keep Chris Middleton. The fact that they don't just want to, swap him for somebody else or buy him out is weird. AJ Johnson he was one of the underrated guys in the draft that should have been a second round pick. He will get more playing time with Washington, which is a good thing for him. I do not like the Wizards on this trade. I do not like Kyle Kuzma's fit with Milwaukee at all. Kyle Kuzma, if he can turn back into his time with the Lakers when they won the title in 2020, if he can turn into that Kyle Kuzma, then he will be a great fit.
Yeah.
But if he is Wizards Kyle Kuzma, who needs the ball in his hand and chucks up the stupidest shots you'll see anybody take. If you watched Washington Wizards basketball this year, you know why they only have 8 wins. Because between Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole chucking up the stupidest shots known to man, it's amazing they have 8 wins. They're also on track to have the worst record in NBA history. But if Kuzma is like that, he's not going to get along well with the rest of the Bucks, including Giannis.
Yeah.
And Dame.
That's Dame's job to chuck up stupid shots.
Yeah. I don't like this move. I get that you want to get rid of Middleton. This also freed up cap space for the Bucks to make another move. They were also in on Jimmy Butler, which would have been very weird, but clearly that didn't happen.
It's just a mid-trade all around.
Yeah. A trade that is very intriguing. This was a trade just by the Pelicans made to, dump salary, get under the second apron. Hopefully they still move Brandon Ingram Although the Hawks and Raptors have been in talks with them, but the Pelicans aren't getting what they want, so they're more than likely going to wait until the offseason and work a sign and trade with them, which is, you think they weren't getting what they want during the season for them. They ain't going to get anything in a sign and trade. But that's just New Orleans Pelicans basketball, to be honest. Let's trade the Thunderland, Daniel Tice, and 2 second-round picks from the Pelicans. I believe they just gave up cash in this deal. The fact that the Thunder got more picks is amazing. But Daniel Tice is a very good veteran, big. He'll be a great fit with OKC, especially until Chet returns. So this is a very underrated move that I love this move.
It's a spot filler for right now.
This is also a move that I love, and there was a lot of interesting thoughts on it that I've seen, including from my own workplace. The Wizards traded Jonas Valanciunas to the Kings for Sidi Sissoko and 2 second-round picks. I love this move for the Kings. They needed a backup big. Trey Lyles is their backup center right now. Just to let you know, Trey Lyles is averaging like 6.4 points per game. He's not really good. Valanciunas is a great backup big man at this point of his career. This is also one of the most talked about, biggest big men traded right now that have been in rumors all year. Not right now because, Claxton, Miles Turner, they're in rumors. I don't see them getting traded. But this is a great move for the Kings. Also a great move for the Wizards. You get Sidi Sissoko. You also get rid of Jonas Valanciunas' contract. But you get Sidi Sissoko, he's going to be able to actually, get playing time in Washington. He'll be alongside, another Frenchman and Bilal Coulibaly. Just think he's played with Victor, now he's going to go play with Bilal. Dude's living the dream that I want to live. But yeah, this is a win-win move for each side. And this is also a trade that the Kings needed to make because they have no backup bigs at all. And Valanciunas and Sabonis both play for the same national team. I don't remember which one. I think it's the Lithuanian. I could be wrong. They play on the same team, so they already have chemistry. That is all the trades that have happened that people care about. So, who's the big winners right now?
Lakers.
Spurs. Spurs are the big one. Well, we're going to make another move. We're going to get another big. Also went on Cam Johnson. Seeing our rebuild turn around right before my eyes, and I'm so happy. We're back. We're back. I'm so excited. In other news, the Suns could move Kevin Durant. Do you see them moving him now?
Now?
I don't see them moving him now.
No. Off season maybe. I
don't see them moving him now because the Warriors were interested in him. The Heat were interested in him. The Suns were actually discussing with the Heat a possible Jimmy Butler for Kevin Durant flip, which would have made 0 sense for Phoenix to do because Kevin Durant's a much better player. And I don't know. The Mavericks are also interested in Kevin Durant. They cannot trade for him without giving up their whole roster. Like, they will have to give... I tried this trade in Fanspo earlier today because I was going to write an article about it, and I'm like, I can't. Because it's impossible. They would have to trade away basically the rest of their roster to pair him alongside Kyrie and Anthony Davis. So I don't see that happening. The Rockets are also interested in him, but they're not wanting to break up their young core. Although after their...
whatever that was.
Yeah, loss to the Nets. They got to do something. Joel Embiid returned to the court for now.
Crap.
He recorded a triple-double in his return. I'll give it a week before he's hurt again.
Yeah.
The All-Star reserves were announced last Thursday. We're going to go through them. There were some surprises. The East All-Star reserves are Jaylen Brown, Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Tyler Hero, Damian Lillard, Evan Mobley, and Pascal Siakam. Of course, one player that is not on this list is LaMelo Ball, who, was the top fan vote in the Eastern Conference for guards. I believe he was 6th among the players' votes, but coaches did not have him in the top 10. So he did not make All-Star team, which is very weird to me. He's the first player to ever have that.
Yeah.
Would you change anything besides LaMelo? And also, who would you take out for LaMelo?
Probably Hero. You know, Hero's having a good year,
Tyler Hero's having an amazing year.
but what LaMelo was doing before he got home.
The West reserves are Anthony Davis, Anthony Edwards, James Harden, Jaren Jackson Jr., Alperen Sengun, Victor Wembanyama, and Jalen Williams. I have a major issue with this list because there are some guys that don't deserve to be here and some guys that do, including one guy that definitely deserves to be an All-Star. Also for the East, Trae Young deserves to be an All-Star. He's leading the league in assists per game. He's having a great season. Deserved to be an All-Star, but he got snubbed again. For the West, that guy, like Trae, is Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis is having an unbelievable year, best season of his career. He's leading the NBA in rebounds per game.
Double every night, basically.
He's second in the NBA in triple-doubles behind Jokic. The fact that he didn't get in and Alperen Sengun did. No offense, I love Alperen Sengun, although he's a Rocket. Alperen Sengun isn't even averaging 20 points per game. I get that, the NBA, they want players from the top teams to be in the All-Star game. But that's not what the All-Star game is. That is what the playoffs are for.
Yeah.
The All-Star game is for the best players in the NBA. And some people that made it didn't deserve it, like Alperen Sengun. I am very happy that Jalen Williams made it in. He deserved to be an All-Star for the Thunder. Happy for Victor, of course. I was getting worried about Victor at the end. He was the last one they announced. I was like, did they just not going to announce him? Did he get snubbed too? Yeah, there's a lot of guys in the West. Devin Booker could have been an All-Star. De'Aaron Fox could have been an All-Star. There's a lot in the West that could have been changed. There's a few in the East. Of course, the All-Star weekend starts next week on Friday with the Rising Stars Challenge.
It's honestly the best thing in the All-Star game.
I'll be watching All-Star weekend because I have to find something to cover with no games on. Friday should be the Rising Stars Challenge and the Celebrity Game. The Celebrity Game, there are quite a few good guys, including Chris Brickley. I believe that's what his name is.
Who?
The guy from 2K who is the shooting coach. He is going to absolutely torch everybody. He's like lethal shooter, but not as annoying.
I still don't know.
Okay. Then Saturday is All-Star Saturday night. The dunk contest is set. If I was you, I probably wouldn't watch it. I'm going to watch it just for Stephon Castle.
I want to watch it just to see how bad it is.
Yeah. The
3-point.
3-point is going to be good. Still don't know who's in the 3-point contest.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. The skills challenge is going to be very good. Of course, the Spurs are having their own. I believe it's going to be Victor, Stephon Castle, and Chris Paul on a team. So I'm pumped for that. Other than that, then the game's on Sunday. But the games, it's not just one game.
Yeah, it's got the
games. Format. Of course, the new format is 3 teams will be selected Thursday night by Charles Barkley, Kenny Jet Smith, and Shaq. They will be selected Thursday night between the East and Western Conference All-Stars. Then they will go, whoever wins the Rising Stars Challenge between the 4 teams that are there, of course the 3 Rising Stars teams plus the G League team, they can move on. Whoever wins that will bracket thing Friday night, moves on to play as the 4th team. And, yeah. Very confusing. Just go back to East-West. Go back to letting players wear their own jerseys like the MLB finally did for this season. And fine players for not trying. So that we actually get a good All-Star game.
Yeah.
Instead of, like last season when each team scored 200 points. Because that's not fun to watch. There is no baseball news, so we will not be talking about the MLB. The show did release... Actually, there is baseball news. If you're the MLB The Show fan, they released their gameplay trailer. You will be able to play in college. And there are metal bats.
Yeah.
You just love the sound of hitting dingers with metal bats. Sounds great. Other than that, there's some major franchise changes, which they always say there is, and then there's not. And then Diamond Dynasty gets a new mode, and they're getting rid of sets and
good.
sets and the seasons.
Good. Sucked. Yeah. And you can play in full sports.
Can you?
Yeah, so I saw.
I saw where you can actually.
It's like Road to the Show, though.
I actually saw where you can avoid steals now, which is much needed for a long time.
Yeah.
Look at San Diego Studios finally doing something.
We'll see what it's like when we actually get it in.
Yeah. Moving on to college basketball, the new rankings are Auburn, Duke, Alabama. Number 4 is Tennessee. They moved up 4 spots. Number 5, Houston. 6, Florida. 7, Purdue. Iowa State dropped 5 spots to 8. Michigan State is 9. Texas A&M 10. Texas Tech moved up 9 spots to 13. Mizzou moved up 5 spots to 15. Kansas dropped down 5 spots to 16. 18 is Maryland. They moved up 8 spots. I also took down my Wisconsin Badgers. And number 22, Mississippi State, down 8 spots. The best games this week on Thursday. Not really. Usually it's, it's Saturday. But Thursday. Number 12, St. John's versus number 19, UConn. On Saturday, there are 3 great matchups. The first one is number 10, Texas A&M versus number 15, Mizzou. The biggest game of any of these, number 6, Florida versus number 1, Auburn. And then number 13, Texas Tech versus number 20, Arizona. Next Tuesday, there are 3 great matchups. Number 4, Tennessee versus number 14, Kentucky. 6, Florida versus number 22, Mississippi State. And number 7, Purdue versus number 24, Michigan. We're right around the corner for March Madness. It's great. Moving on to other sports, Rory McIlroy wins the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Congrats to Rory. The Waste Management Phoenix Open is this weekend at TPC Scottsdale. One of my favorite courses. I will be watching this before the Super Bowl on Sunday. Hopefully it moves into the Super Bowl and it goes a little bit longer so I don't have to watch the beginning of the Super Bowl. Because I would much rather watch one of the great, probably the second best, third best behind Augusta and my personal favorite, TPC Sawgrass. Chase Elliott wins the Clash at Bowman Gray.
This week's kind of sucked.
The Heats, the last chance qualifier, they were really good. The race was boring.
Yeah.
Wasn't much action, especially at the end of it.
Yeah.
NASCAR is off this weekend. They will go head to Daytona next week. The Daytona Duels that determines the qualifying position is next Thursday, February 13th. And then the Daytona 500 is Sunday, February 16th.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great day.
NASCAR.
Sunday, February 16th, you got the Daytona 500 during the day. Then you got the NBA All-Star Game at night. And I guarantee you the Daytona 500 is going to be much better than the NBA All-Star Game. Very happy NASCAR's back.
Yeah.
Also, remember, if you're looking to watch the other series, including the Xfinity Series, the Xfinity Series is on the CW now for the whole season. Xfinity also announced that they will continue their sponsorship next season, but they will not be the title sponsor of the series. So it will be interesting to see who takes it over.
So it won't be Xfinity anymore?
No. Maybe it'll be like how Craftsman came back with the Truck Series. Maybe Busch will come back.
Winston Cup.
You know what Winston is, right? It's a cigarette brand.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that. I don't even think Winston's made anymore.
Marlboro Cup. Camel Cup. Hey, Camel Cup. There we go. That sounds right.
They're not going to do any cigarette brands.
Why not? It's NASCAR. It's NASCAR. They used to smoke cigs when they were racing cars back then.
Thanks. That's all I have. Do you have anything else? I expect this to be a lot longer than 40 minutes.
I thought it was too long. You just kept rambling about the trades.
Yeah.
I get your job and all, but damn.
You have anything else?
Baseball. It's getting close.
It is.
I can't wait.
Pitchers and catchers report in a few weeks. Also for baseball, the only team, since the Twins signed 2 players, including Harrison Bader. Harrison Bader's former team, St. Louis Cardinals, are the only team who has not signed a free agent. And if you listened to any or saw any of the quotes from 101.1 ESPN this week, you should have some concerns with the Cardinals as a franchise right now.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go look it up, because I ain't getting into it, because I don't give two craps about the St. Louis Cardinals.
I think it's kind of funny.
I think it is too. So thank you guys for listening. Come back here next week.
I mean, they'll still be better than the Cincinnati Reds, but that's
you don't know that.
Reds suck ass.
Thank you guys for listening. Come back here next week. Peace.